Okay, good morning everybody. Today is Tuesday. It is August 18th. We are starting with math. We are using our classwork workbook, which is the one that does not say homework and remembering at the top. And we are starting with page 34. Today we're doing 34 and 35. Okay, so starting with page 34, we're going to solve problems that require us to use our tens times tables, and maybe even some division as well. So it says to write an equation and solve the problem. So you have to do two things. You have to write the equation, you have to solve the problem, okay? So number one says Raimondo has 9 dimes. How many cents does he have? Now you have to know something that's not written in here, and that is what is the quality of the dime. So meaning how much is the dime worth? The dime is worth, of course, 10 cents. So our equation would be 9 dimes times 10 equals 90 cents. And go ahead and put your labels in there, even though it doesn't say labels, okay? You may need to show your work. You may not need to show work with this. You can choose here. It does not say that you have to show work. It does say you have to write the equation and solve the problem, and I've done both of those. So if you want to draw a picture, you can. If you don't, that's okay too. You'll continue to do 2 through 6 here. Okay, page 35. This is our next page within our requirements for today. Your vocabulary words for this section are equation, which we already know this one, right? And variable. Variable is going to be a new word for us, a new vocabulary word for us. So it says, use variables in equations. When you write equations, you can use a letter to represent an unknown number. This letter is called a variable. Each of these equations has a variable. So here we have the equation, we have the factors on one side, we have the product on the other. Our job is to figure out what is the missing factor, or we could also say what is the variable equal, right? So basically it's just like in reading when you have like a fill in the blank. It's basically like saying blank times 10 equals 6. So I bet you already know that. So for this one, we know that 6 times 10 equals 60. So the way you would solve this problem is you would just write A equals 6. Because if I replace 6 for A, then I would have 6 times 10, which is 60. Okay, 70 equals C times 7. What number basically do we fill in the blank? What number makes this equation true? And we know, of course, that 10 times 7 gives us 70, so C would equal 10 for this one. Okay, here's a new equation where they put the variable on the opposite side of where they put it with the other two problems. So 80 divided by 10, and we practiced this yesterday, right? 80 divided by 10 is going to give me 8. W equals 8. All right, so to be honest, I'd like you to work out the ones that are in this blue box, the rest of them. I did 3 for you, but I'd like you to do the rest in the blue box. I'll do one of these, but because I demonstrated these above, I don't think you need me to do more than one. 14 equals 7 times A. 7 times what gives me 14? I know that 7 times 2 gives me 14, so A equals 2. Okay, then you're going to come below and it says write and solve equations with variables. Write an equation and solve the problem. Number 11 says a box of straws holds 60 straws, one box. There are 10 straws in each row. How many rows are there? So here we've got a division problem, right? So there's a box that holds, there's a total of 60 straws. There's 10 straws in each row. How many rows are there? So we would just go 60 divided by 10. And I know, it says write the equation, solve the problem. So I've written the equation. I know that 60 divided by 10 equals 6. Okay? So you'll do the same thing for 12, 13, and 14. And then you're done in this book. All right, so now you want to get your homework in remembering. We're going to do 3 pages of it. Are we doing 3 pages? No, we're doing 2 pages. 21. Page 21 and page 22. So think about what can you do to help you with your study plan. Believe it or not, and what I'm going to actually write in my study plan is, I'm not feeling great this morning, but I still know I have a lot of work I need to get done. So part of my study plan today is going to be to drink a lot of water. That may not seem like it can be part of your study plan, but water actually helps your brain function better. So if you're hydrated, you're going to focus more on your work. So this actually can work for a study plan. So this is what I'm doing today to make sure that I am focused and doing what I need to do. So this is write an equation, solve the problem. Same thing that we've been doing, right? You're going to write the equation, solve the problem. I'll do number 1 for you. On a wall, photos are arranged in 2 rows with 7 photos on each row. How many photos are on the wall? So this is going to be 2 rows times 7 photos in each row. So 2 times 7 or 7 times 2, either way, because the commutative property, multiplication equals 14. So you'll do 2 through 6 alone. All right, go ahead and turn the page. And we're going to complete page 22, remembering that this is going to be your review page, right? We are not literally counting how many dots. Your directions are to write the multiplication equation for each array, all right? So I know that I have, let me see, I have 3 columns and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So I know my array is going to be 5 times 3 equals 15. So you'll do number 2. Answer your problems for 3 through 8. We know that an X, a dot, or an asterisk all means you are multiplying. We know that basically it's like a garage, right? Sort of. We actually haven't studied this symbol yet, but that is division. Divided by, and then the bar is a division problem. We'll talk about this though. All right, and then you're doing 9, 10, and 11 alone. So basically, I'll work this problem out as my example. 5 divided by 5 equals 1. All right, number 9. There are 10 sunglasses on display. There are 10 sunglasses on display. Each has 2 lenses. We know that part. How many lenses are there? So there's 10 times 2 equals 20. You'll do 10 and 11 alone, okay? Is that all we're doing? Yep, that's it for math. And do go to IXL, you guys, because I did assign new stars. Okay, so we are going on to writing. So I've got my writing notebook. I'm so proud of myself. I completed my whole first writing prompt. Thank you to my student who sent me a picture. You know who you are. Yesterday I had one person send me a picture of their final draft, and I was just so proud to have received that. And now we are on prompt 2. So we are writing about what excites us and why. And we chose one thing that excites us, right? And that's what we're really going to focus on. So hiking really excites me. So today I'm going to be working only on my main idea paragraph, my first paragraph. And I'm going to do the same thing like I did with my first paper. I'm going to start with the heading rough draft, and then I'm going to put the number, which is 2. We're on rough draft 2. And because it's a title, I capitalize the R in rough and I capitalize the D in draft. 2. I am going to put today's date, which is, because that's just good note-taking practices to start getting into. It's the 18th. All right. And I'm remembering that I'm going to be skipping every other line as I'm doing my writing. Now, a strategy that could help you remember to skip lines if you struggled with that last time is you can put a dot on every other line. So it sort of reminds you as you're writing, okay, that's the line that I'm going to write on next. Okay. So you may want to go through and use a pen or marker and do that, but do not do your rough draft in a pen or marker. Okay, because you may have seen now after we got through our rough draft, you may see once we did our editing and revising why skipping lines was so very helpful. Okay, and last week we worked with statements, we worked with composing questions, And I'm going to require, and this is a change from last year, that each of your papers now starts with a question. And we've studied that, so we know how to use a question mark. We know that it helps bring audience into what we are writing about. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to engage our audience now, okay? And guess what, you guys? This is really easy because they've already given you the question that you could use. So you could use this question as your opening sentence, or you could use a different question. It's totally up to you. But I'm going to use this one. Okay. Well, I'm going to use something like that. Let's see. Is there anything in your life that excites you? Question mark. Okay, now remember, I'm going to pause here for a second. The dots really helped me as I was writing and finishing my sentence. I didn't have to think about, oh, skip a line. I just knew to go straight to my dot when I was mid-sentence, right? I remembered to indent. I also am going to remember that I don't have to worry about spelling right now. I don't really have to worry about capitalization or even punctuation marks. The purpose of the rough draft is, as a writer, for me to get all of the thoughts that are in my mind onto my paper and not to block any of my creative thoughts with worries about, oh my God, am I spelling this right? Or, oh my God, what punctuation mark do I use? No, put that to the side. We'll come back and we'll fix any of your punctuation errors, spelling errors, capitalization errors once we get to revising and editing. Right now, this is your creative time to get all of your thoughts down, okay? All right. So, is there anything in your life that excites you? Well, and then I'm going to write the thing that really excites me the most is hiking. Okay. So now I think I'm done. I've got 3 sentences. If you want to add one more, you can. But this is my main idea paragraph. And I'm glad I just said that because I know I need my crayons. And do you know what color you need? You need green. That's right, because we want our color codes to match our pre-writing. So green for main idea, which we are talking all about main idea in reading and in social studies this week. So it kind of all goes together. All right, so there's my rough draft, and I'm done with my writing for the day. I'm going to go over to IXL because I've got some more yellow stars to work on. Is there anything in your life that excites you? Well, there are many things in my life that get me excited. The thing that really excites me the most is hiking. Beautiful. Okay, all done with my writing. Do you know what? I skipped right over reading, and I bet the rest of you guys realized that. Okay, so reading. Remember, you're in your textbook. My textbook looks like yours a little bit from right here, but that's the book that you're in. Okay, this reading assignment, we are probably going to get the whole thing done during today's Zoom. But you are reading 70, 71, 72, 73, but like I said, we're probably going to get this done. I would suggest after you're finished, we will be going over these questions together, but you could also read these questions to somebody at home and talk about what you think the answers are. And then the workbook page, again, we're probably going to do this during our Zoom. We'll see how far we get because we have to check our previous pages. And look, this should look familiar. You're going to be working with main idea, detail, and then you'll be reading that passage. We'll be figuring out what the main idea is, and we'll be talking about what the 2 details are. And then you will kind of merge these 3 sentences into making yourself a summary. But like I said, I would just hold off on this assignment until we get into our Zoom and we will do this together. All right? I'll be attaching pictures also to Class Dojo for those of you that don't have your textbook. Okay, so we've done math, reading, writing. Now we've got to go on to language arts. So we're going back to our reading workbook. You are watching your video on subjects. That's what you're working on this week. And we are completing page, let's see, page 44. So in 44, it gives you information about the subject up at the top. We know that a subject is what or whom the sentence is about. What or whom the sentence is about. The subject of a sentence tells what or whom the sentence is about. That's what we just said, right? Okay, so, oh my gosh, look, it's about habitats, you guys. This goes with what we were talking about in science. Yes! So it says, read the paragraph about habitat below. I'm just going to highlight habitat because I'm so excited to see that. So you'll read the paragraph, and then it says, rewrite the paragraph fixing any sentence fragments that you found. So if a sentence is written where it doesn't include a subject, we have to fix it. I can already see. Here's one. I can see here's one. Oh, look, I can see that's another one that doesn't have a subject. So here's what I'll tell you. You don't have to rewrite your complete sentences. You can rewrite your sentences that lack a subject. So let me demonstrate. Look, there's another one right there. All right, my habitat each day is Lowell Elementary School. Students make up the largest group of living things in this habitat. There is a subject there already. So really, it would be really great if you took a different color crayon and then underline the subject if it has one in the sentence. So here, my habitat, that's your subject. Each day is Lowell Elementary School. The second sentence, students make up the largest group of living things in this habitat. What or whom is that sentence about? It's about students. They come in all shapes and sizes. Subject is they. Be very loud. Okay, that is missing a subject. They can be very quiet. Move around. There's no subject. Some get their food from brown lunch bags. Oh, guess what? That actually is a complete sentence. So I'm going to cross that off because that one's fine. And then I will actually underline what the subject is. Some. Others get their food from plastic containers. Other living things include the plants sitting near the window. Are watered every day? Is that a complete sentence? No. It's missing a subject. The living things also include the fish in the fish tank. Ooh, our class knows about that. We can watch the fish and see how they live in their habitat. Swim around in the tank. Okay? So I've done the part as far as identifying the sentences that need to be. You're going to be revising these sentences. You have incomplete sentences, and now you're going to be making them complete. So when we get into, and everything relates, you guys, with our classwork, and I hope you're realizing that. With your writing, if you remember last week when we did our revising, we're rewording sentences that don't make sense or aren't complete. That's part of revising when we did arms. Okay? You're looking for sentences that might lack a subject. All right, so what I will do is I'm going to rewrite this one, for example, be very loud. And we're talking about the habitats in the students in the habitat of the elementary school. So I would say the students can be very loud. All right? So you'll do the same for the rest of the sentences that do not have a subject. All right, so now we are going on to science. Yesterday, I'm kind of excited about today's assignment. Even though you're still back in your interactive study guide, you read yesterday about biomes. So today, you are going to be watching a video on biomes. You're going to be doing one more reading about different kinds of biomes, and then that way tomorrow we can get to our fun assignment where you're going to draw your favorite biome and describe it. Okay, so you're working on page 26 and 27. You're answering your questions about what are your 3 types of biomes. You're matching the biome on the left with the description on the right. Your main ideas are given to you in bold. So for example, if I am needing to figure out grassland first, then obviously I'm going to read about the grasslands. So the grassland is a biome. It has many grasses. It has flowering plants. I'm going to highlight all that. It does not have a lot of trees. So I can already picture what this looks like and how I'm going to draw it. The winters are cold there. The summers are hot and dry. The soil is dry because the grasslands does not get a lot of rain. Interesting. All right, let me see if I can find the answer. Grassland, a biome that is cold and dry. It did say it was cold, and it did say that the summers are dry. So let's see. A biome has many grasses and flowering plants, but does not have a lot of trees. That actually came exactly from what I had just read. So grasslands is going to go with this one. All right, so you will work on desert and tundra and then filling in your answers down here. And again, just kind of be visualizing or imagining which one of these biomes you want to draw. And think about that too while you're watching your YouTube video. And again, there are new yellow stars in IXL for all of your assignments today. So once you finish everything, go over to IXL. All right, so Unit 4, we're continuing with learning about voting, which is just like such an important thing in life and definitely part of our current events right now, right? So yesterday you should have written out your vocabulary words: vote, volunteer, taxes. And today, I don't know, did I sign? I did sign your social studies. Okay, so today the only thing that you're working on, and if you look down at the bottom, guess what it talks about? Main idea and details. And so we're going to continue working with main idea and details because you are only having to complete page 90 today in social studies on rules and law. And look, there's a picture of the San Francisco Fire Department. Okay, so you're going to read about the rights of citizens. That's basically giving you just a very quick summary of what your main idea is. And then find out what they say about the rights of citizens and complete your main idea in detail chart over here to the right. Okay? And that's all that you're doing today as far as your book work goes. It's a little bit cooler outside today. Just talk to your parents about whether or not they want you playing in the heat or not, to make sure you're drinking lots of water. Find something to do to help your family around the house and be kind to your brothers and sisters. I'll see you at our Zoom. Bye, guys.